what I learned at mile 9 while running my half marathon and how it relates to our group today. So I ran my first half marathon in 20 years. This was my second one over the weekend, and it was a Run Disney half marathon. Those are so much fun. But this is 13 miles, and I love my bod workouts and I love my body workouts and I love my bike. I don't typically hit the trails or hit the pavement. In fact, I would have told you my knees aren't great for it. I'm not a runner. I don't run in this cold. I don't run in the rain, all the things. If I run, I'm usually like, I don't know, like I did it because did the 30-day breakaway program. So I ran because I want to start and finish programs and I love new challenges. This was an entirely new challenge. I doubted myself multiple times during training. But with a race, there's such an urgent deadline and there's a finite deadline. And I'd made an investment in this race, and I was signed up with friends to do this race, and we had hotel rooms, like we were traveling and airfare. Like I was kind of like, I had to do this, right? There was no way out. And so I had to do the training. Like I was very committed to it. So when the race began, I knew that it was going to get really hard at one point. And I knew that I was going to have to dig deep. I just didn't know when that was going to happen. And for me, it was mile 9. Mile 9 was in the hot sun, 3 miles into running on a highway. A lot of our run was it was all on Disney property. A lot of it was in not resorts, but in the parks, in Epcot and Hollywood Studios. There was also a very large portion that was on the highway. And by the time we were on the highway, it was hot. We'd been rained on multiple times. It was very humid. The road was wet. The road was kind of rocky and uneven at times. There were puddles. There were lots of people. It was less than ideal. And I don't like running in situations that aren't ideal, to be honest. So it really started getting to me at mile 9. And mile 9, my feet were starting to throb from just hitting the pavement. My legs were starting to ache and just feel really tired. At that point, we leaned into our training method of the run walk, 1 minute and 30 seconds running, 30 seconds of walking, and really leaned into our intervals. But what I also did was I looked up instead of looking down and only digging deep within. I looked up and I saw the people around me also sweating, walking, slowing down, just kind of struggling through that point too. It wasn't just hard for me, it was hard for everyone. And I saw that. And the motivation that I was playing in my head, right? All the mantras we have, like, you can do this, you're such a badass, you've been training for this, right? Those kinds of things in my head. I actually started saying them out loud. For me, for Kristen, who I was running with, but also for the people around me. I said things like, we are living the life. We are running a half marathon in Disney. And I'm saying this out loud among strangers. We've done harder things than this, right? And I start saying things out loud, and I have no idea. Like there's a couple people that were, but what happened to me at that moment was, and like I said, no one was like, oh yeah, that really helped me. Kristen actually said, I needed you to start doing that when you did it. And so I was like, okay, there's something to this. But what happened to me was when I started saying my mantras out loud to lift up what I needed to hear, when I started saying them out loud to everybody else, do you know what happened? There was a surge of energy that came through me. I could no longer feel my feet throbbing. I no longer felt the weight of my heavy legs pounding the pavement. They felt lighter. I felt uplifted. I felt energized. The pain, the discomfort started to disappear the moment that I started uplifting others. I was living in my own discomfort, and I very, very easily could have turned inward. but instead I opened it up and I shared what I needed to hear with everyone else around me. And so I'm sharing this today because what I learned from mile 9 is that when we feel discomfort and pain and we want to quit and we need some positive motivation, it is 100% likely, 100% likely that someone else needs it too. And the cure for your discomfort and the cure for you wanting to quit and you lacking confidence is to actually pour your own belief into other people. So in this group, in Healthy Obsession, here's something that I want to challenge you with. Every day, I want you to come into this group and I want you to support the sisters and the brothers that are in this group, because that is a magical secret sauce for feeling energized, for following through with your commitments, is by shining the words that you need to hear out loud with other people. Imagine that. We think everybody's okay. We think they're doing just fine. But those runners beside me, if they were anything like me, which they probably were, they had their own mental drama and soundtracks going in their brain. So whatever I needed, they needed it too. And I gave to them without expecting that surge of energy or anything within me, and I received it. The greatest lesson I've ever learned since starting my Beachbody coach journey, since starting this journey, has been to give without expecting anything in return. And I want to add something on top of that now. It's to assume that everyone needs what you have to give. Everyone needs what you have to give. You are on a journey here that is inspiring someone else in your family and your life and at your work. You are on a journey here with other people who are running the race with you. And if you woke up today doubting yourself, feeling sore, wondering if you could show up today, that message in your brain that's wondering if you can show up today, someone else in our group has that message too. So whatever you need to hear from yourself, I want to challenge you from now on to come into this group and share it with everybody else, because there is someone here who needs to hear it too. I wanted to share that lesson with you today because I want you to start speaking up. I want you to start believing that what you have to say is so valuable to everyone here. I don't want you to wait for me to ask you a question about what your positive mantra is. I don't want you to wait here for me to ask you what your goals are. I don't want you to wait for us for the nightly check-in. I want you to come in here and I want you to share what you needed to hear today. Every day, if you can, right? Every day when you're thinking about it. And underneath of the check-ins of our Healthy Obsession ladies here, cheer them on. Don't assume that everybody's fine. Assume that everyone needs your support and your love. That's why we were here. Let's just pretend that every day is mile 9. And it's going to be a struggle for someone here, and they need to hear you today. I tried to capture that. It's hard to put a breakthrough into words and to be able to capture it for you, but I hope that meant something to you today. I hope you realize that you have something really great to contribute to this group, that you 100% belong here, that your voice is worthy of being shared and told, and that you are getting ready to make some massive breakthroughs yourself. Welcome to week 1 of a fresh start and a new beginning, in realizing that your voice and what you have within you is something really special that everyone here needs.